are bad players. Like I said earlier, Osimhen remains our best player. But the message that it sends is that you do not need to play regularly and you would still get a chance in the national team. And I do not think that's a good look. That's just an
Inka,
opinion.
we were calling up Ahmed Musa that was doing close to nothing with Kano
Because we're
Pillars.
poor now. It's
So
always.
that's
It feels good to be back on the Let's Go podcast. Good evening, everybody. Good day, everybody. To my panelists, Ahmed and Yinka, good to have you guys back. How are you doing?
Good to be back, man. It's good to be back. How was your weekend?
We thank God. A lot has happened in the past week, and before we proceed to any serious discussion today, I want us to have a minute silence for the departed souls in the game of football last week. We lost Diogo Jota and his brother. Our own Peter Rufai also was departed. We lost a Palestinian footballer in the course of the ongoing fighting. So, guys, let us have a minute silence for the departed. May the soul of the departed find eternal rest.
Right.
Speaking of this issue that happened last week, the death of Diogo Jota and his brother. Yinka, quickly, Cristiano Ronaldo did not attend that funeral. What did you make of that?
Well, it's a tricky one, really, because I've read in some quarters that he did not attend the funeral because he did not want the entire attention on him, because Ronaldo is a big star, is a huge star in football. Paparazzi, the media focus would have been on him to a large extent. But in my opinion, I think he was a flimsy excuse. I think he should still have gone. Life should always trump any excuse that you have, and regardless of what the media would have done, I think he should still have appeared. If he had appeared and the media had misbehaved, then the blame would have been on the media, not on Ronaldo. So I think he should have gone all the same.
Personally, I believe he should have attended also. Ahmed, do you share a contrary view?
yeah, I agree with you guys. I think he should that's the very last thing he can do for Jota at this point. He's gone, so that's the way of showing respect. He has to be there. I don't think that's an enough excuse.
Well, we hope he has learned from that. Ronaldo is a big star, like Yinka mentioned. Regardless, he should have attended that funeral as the captain of the team and the face of the country itself. Club World Cup is winding up on Sunday, and Chelsea were able to avenge their group stage loss uh, from the hands of Flamengo, a Brazilian club, by eliminating another Brazilian club in semi-final. They eliminated Thiago Silva's Fluminense by 2 goals to 1, and PSG ran rampant against Madrid. But before we discuss the Club World Cup, I want us to discuss the hottest gist in town, which is the transfer of our own Victor Osimhen. Yinka, the deal is closed. No, they've called it off. The parties are closed. We are tired of these adjectives. What is happening in that deal is looking like it's no more a normal business transaction. There's a clash of ego. There's an element of pride in it. Yinka, what do you have for us on that?
Well, the latest from the last time I heard anything relating to the Victor Osimhen saga is that all parties have now come together again to try to see if they can iron something out and ensure that the deal goes through. Apparently, they've spoken to Victor Osimhen as well, and he has reiterated his desire to join Galatasaray. We did mention on this show some weeks ago that the logical thing would be for him to go back to Galatasaray, even though there are so many other teams in Europe that would need his services, but it did make sense that he would go back to Galatasaray. Galatasaray, however, seem like they are trying to play too smart. It looks like they are banking on the fact that Osimhen really wants to join them and they are trying to lowball Napoli. But they will be shocked because I don't know if they've dealt with Aurelio De Laurentiis in the past, but this experience will teach them not to mess with Napoli in future because Aurelio De Laurentiis does not play with money, and because the contract says £75 million to be triggered for the release clause, but that £75 million, sorry, euros rather, has to be paid in one installment. So basically, paying €75 million does not technically trigger the release clause unless it's paid in one installment. Now, Galatasaray are trying to pay this €75 million about 5 installments. And what Napoli are telling them is that we need guarantees. We need certainties that these installments will certainly be paid. And for about two days now, has not been able to provide that. So, which is a bit shocking because an institution of Galatasaray stature should be able to at least provide a guarantee from a bank, at least saying that okay, we can assure you that this institution is to fulfill is debt. But that's not what we're seeing at the moment. So it's a bit tricky. Now that they've come back to the table, especially with the release clause about to expire by 12 a.m. tonight, we'll see what they can iron out. But if they do not iron something out, then I think it puts many other teams into play because it puts Al Hilal obviously into play. I also think that a few European clubs might be fancying their chances because the release clause is no longer there. Means that they can present any offer that they have to Napoli and hope that Napoli accept it if the structure is good enough. For example, if you
Yeah.
present a 60 million offer to Napoli now after the clause has expired and you're offering say 50 million upfront and 10 million in bonuses, Napoli might actually consider that compared to a 75 million that will be staggered in five different places. So if we'll just wait to see what happens, especially after tonight.
Ahmed, away from the contract nitty-gritties, I am more interested in the footballing aspects, footballing angle to this. Why Galatasaray? What is the appeal to offer the most money? They are not the biggest club in the lineup chasing him. Why Galatasaray?
Well, it is an easy choice for him, definitely because he was there last season and he felt at home really well. He was welcomed, he was loved. In fact, he was treated like a cult hero. So he came in, he flourished, he scored goals, they won the league, they won the
Records. And he
yes,
set some records too.
he was the highest goal scorer, breaking the goal scoring record while at it, qualified to the Champions League. So that's something he can always go back to and continue from. So going somewhere else at this point is like starting all over again. It wasn't like Galatasaray was his first choice coming into the window, but looking at the circumstances around the whole window, he expected other European teams to come in for him, but unfortunately for him, there are little interest from elsewhere aside the Al Hilal deal. So I guess that's why he decided to go back to Galatasaray, and now they are trying to iron out a deal for him. So that's an easy choice, given that he knows what to expect in Turkey. They are literally the biggest team in Turkey as of right now. So that's an easy choice for him to make.
Ahmed, trick question. Did
All
you
right,
ever see yourself at Milan?
that's very tough. I don't think so.
You don't think so? Yinka, back to you. Worst case scenario now. No deal with Galatasaray, no deal with anybody. What happens to Osimhen?
Well, worst case scenario, if they're unable to get a deal with Galatasaray or Al Hilal, for example, because it looks like Osimhen does not really fancy the Al Hilal move. I'm not particularly sure why. My mind tells me it might have something to do with what happened to Boniface last season, last summer, where it seemed like it was done, and then all of a sudden they just went for John Duran, who is now at Fenerbahce. So I think that he does not want to put himself in that situation. That's just my opinion anyway. But what's the scenario if a deal does not happen? I think that because Napoli are not particularly in a rush to do a deal as well, considering the fact that they have a unilateral option to extend this contract for another year, it means that they get to keep him for another year. So worst case, I think he will go on another loan. Probably they will find another agreement with the Galatasaray again to stay there for another loan and then see what happens again. So it's almost like kicking the ball down the road or kicking the can down the road and then see what. But I do hope for his sake that everything is sorted out this summer because this thing has been dragging on for about 2-3 seasons now. And it's becoming a mess to be honest. And like I said, the group earlier, I think it's becoming a thing of pride. Both parties, and I'm referring to Napoli sporting director. I can't remember his first name now, Mana, Aurelio De Laurentiis, that's the Napoli camp, and then Victor Osimhen and his camp now. It's a bit of a power tussle, like, oh, I'm not going to accept this, I'm not going to accept that. You have to play to our tune. I'm not going to play to your tune. So it's beginning to look too messy rather, and I hope that everything is sorted out this summer.
Okay, Ahmed, you are the national team coach, the Nigerian national team coach. Osimhen does not have a club. Osimhen is not playing for anybody. Do you still call him to the national team?
Definitely, as of right now, there is no other striker in the Super Eagles rank that offers as much guarantee that Osimhen offers. As much as he can prove to be match fit enough to run the expectation of a game. I would definitely give him. That's not the first time we would see such a situation. There was a situation with Ikechukwu in 2002 going into the World Cup. He was also without a club, and he got a call up to the national team going into the Korea-Japan World Cup. I did not know well he did with the Super Eagles as at then. So right now, I don't think there is another striker who offers us that guarantee that Osimhen offers in the national team. The closest for me right now is maybe Cyril Dessers because I'm not overly impressed with Boniface and
So Bezos
uh,
has not played any official game for Nigeria.
yes, but we saw what he could do with Rangers last season, and
Friendly match.
even in invitational tournament and friendly that was played in Brentford some months back. He gave a good account for himself. I'm overly not impressed with Boniface's performances with the Super Eagle. He's usually found one thing, and also Tolu Arukudari.
Even Boniface is not impressed with himself.
I don't buy into I don't buy into their stock. So I think Osimhen offers us the most guarantees. He's one striker that can thrive in teams that are lacking in creativity, which the Super Eagles team is a good example of a team like that. So Osimhen is someone I would, regardless of his club situation, I would definitely give him a call up.
Well,
Agree, disagree?
I do not agree. And to say that this is not a bad player. Osimhen remains our best striker.
Yes.
Hands down, he remains our best striker. But I'm
Let's
just
have it.
worried
Let's
about the
have it.
message that it sends. It's not a good look when you're calling up someone that is not playing active football in Europe. I mean, there was a time where we paraded the best of the best. And I'm not talking in terms of, the clubs that they played for, but in terms of the quality that they had. We knew that they were playing regularly wherever they were. And that's what we always, sought to put on display. But when giving players that are not playing regular football at their club sites call up and appearances, I think it sends a wrong message to probably other players, future generation, that you just need to do the bare minimum and Nigeria is going to call you. I mean, with all due respect
Osimhen
to
is not someone that
smaller
does
football.
the he has done more than enough to it is not like
Yinka,
But
it is
how
not
fit,
out
except
of
for the
how fit
fact that
Osimhen?
when it
such
comes to national team football, reputation alone should not get you a slot. You should be playing regularly. Your
not with the
performance at the moment should
not with the
also
current Eagles.
play play a role. That's because Eagles are falling. So that's what I'm saying. Nigerian national team is falling. Normally, let's say we had an England national team, for example. If Harry Kane went a whole season without playing football, do you think England will call him? I don't think so now.
They
Because you
might
can call.
do.
I do not think they will call him.
Ah,
In fact, I can not call him because
Harry
apart
Kane.
from the fact that now this is not to say that these are bad players. Like I said earlier, Osimhen remains our best player. But the message that it sends is that you do not need to play regularly and you will still get a chance in the national team. And I think that's a good look. That's just an
Ika, we
opinion.
were we were calling up Ahmed Musa doing close to nothing
Because we're
pillars.
poor now, it's
So
almost
that's the
like you're
reality we are
comparing,
dealing with. I'm not creating
you're
a scenario.
justifying
I'm not
war
creating a
decisions
Yinka,
scenario
you
with
are,
that
poor
does not
wait,
decisions.
exist.
Ahmed, you are using wrong to justify wrong. Ahmed,
It's almost like poor
That's not my
decisions with
point.
other poor decisions. In an ideal
I
situation,
am
it
dealing
shouldn't be
with the
like that.
reality of the Super Eagles team as of right now.
let's
But
hope.
it's not asking you
Let's
about the
hope.
reality. It's telling you that if you were the coach, ideally you would want to do the right thing. What would you do? Are you supposed to call
Ahmed
a
will
player
call
that
him.
does not play at all, that would not play for an entire season?
Ahmed will call him. Yinka will not call him. 1-1. We move on. Let us talk about some confirmed deals already Jonathan David has signed with Juventus. Modric to Milan
Here we
is
go.
also over the line. Samuel Ricci to Milan, also over the line. Joao Pedro to Chelsea, over the line.
I'm even
Saporita.
hearing tonight that Noni Madueke has joined us now. Here we go as well.
Let us keep wait. We are coming there. We are coming there to Arsenal. Uh, I wish we an Arsenal
Conspiracy theory,
fans.
in case you want to discuss that too.
I wish we had fans on the show today. I really need to ask what deal between Arsenal and Chelsea. It's becoming to look like a toy, and they will look left, look right, look left, look right.
And they don't take them cheap.
They don't take them for cheap. How on God's earth do you pay for Noni Madueke? I
Plus,
don't
50
understand.
million plus, not just 50
50
million.
million plus. What is Ateta cooking?
Premier League tax.
Well, I do not think it's an Arsenal Chelsea thing anymore. Premier League thing. It just happens that Arsenal and Chelsea are making it quite obvious. I think that in a bid to try to, and this is just my conspiracy theory anyway, in a bid to try
PSR.
to maneuver their way
Satisfy PSR.
through, PSR rules, I think that Premier League teams are now starting to assist themselves, quote and unquote, to 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 maneuver. We've seen several deals over the last 2 or 3 years. You've seen almost unknown players leave for say 40 million. I think there was a deal between Leeds United
Achigre.
and Newcastle a few
Left
seasons ago.
Leeds for Spurs last season for 40 or 45 million pounds.
How many games did he play? So you
Who
begin to
was he?
wonder, and then you look at this and you wonder, is it not the same Noni Madueke that we see week in, week out? I mean, we're not saying this guy is terrible. This guy is there's no way in hell that Noni Madueke is worth 50 million or 50 million pounds or more. So it looks to me that Premier League clubs are starting to assist themselves. Buy one of my players, let me record it as a sale. I'm going to sell one maybe next season to you. And but the bad
Then
news
there's
when
the
it comes to
then
that is that
there's the Chelsea and Brighton marriage too.
exactly. You have Chelsea and Brighton as well. But the bad news with that is that UEFA does not take all of those nonsense into consideration because UEFA emphasizes, especially when they are doing their financial fair play calculation, emphasizes on fair value when you are doing these transfers or swaps or have with yourselves. So an example can be seen in the recent punishment out to Aston Villa where it was, clearly stated out. They did not mention the name of the players, but they sort of pointed fingers at the fact that some of the stats they've done recently did not really, you know, show that
Justify
they valued
fair
those
value.
players, at their fair value. So we'll see how things go, and Italian teams can also take advantage of the system that they are running in Premier
Yes,
League. If
so
the Premier League teams are
yes,
getting away
so
with it, why can't we do the same in Italy? So we'll see.
there is unnecessary traditional hate in Italy. Hate that does not take. That's their problem. To the next controversial one, Nico Williams pulled a 360 on Barcelona. Ahmed, did you see that coming?
Well, I wouldn't say I expected that, but at the same time, I've always in the line of I couldn't wrap my head around how Barcelona are going to.
Barca would pay for 50 million pounds.
So I think that's one of the reasons why
They still have to
of
sell in
of
Camp Nou.
renewing. You understand? We know what drama they went through last season before they could register the likes of Dani Olmo, and so I've always thought of how would they uh, cough up as much as it is required to get Nico Williams to Camp Nou. I believe if they've shown keen interest in getting him, if there was actually a possibility of getting him, they would have showed interest, have talks going into the transfer window. So the lack of such a discussion might be one of the reasons why he actually decided to renew his contract, stay put in Atletico Bilbao.
Okay, Yinka, Athletic Bilbao, they call them the Basque club. They have the players have there's a different way of thinking in that club. But then Nico Williams approaching his peak. staying at uh, Atletico Bilbao, renewing for that long. Do you see any sporting sense in that?
Well,
I mean, there were clubs that were interested.
it's always different player to player. Players have certain players play for the glamour, the career. Let me play for the likes of Manchester United. Let me play for the likes of Real Madrid and the
Madrid,
likes. While there are some other players that just want to feel valued wherever they are. And
Bellingham.
this might be one
like
of those cases.
Ahmed,
Now, I'm saying this because obviously, there's always the chance that he might still leave, because no one knows what will happen in future. But it's not the first time that we're seeing something like this. Athletic Bilbao used to have a player. I can't remember his name now. One of
Ikamani.
their very
Munaim.
good, yes, Ika Munain, and people thought as good as that guy was, people
Manchester
thought he was
United
going to leave
wanted
as
him
well.
so
I don't
much.
think he ever left. Yes, I don't think he ever left Bilbao as well. So I think the club also gives you a sense of belonging. Also because, like you said earlier, they do not operate like most clubs. They prefer to develop their own players, hardly bring in players from
They don't
outside
bring
the
in.
Basque region, and they try to just grow their own thing and then make them stars. So once you feel like you are in a setting like that and you feel that sense of belonging, I think it then becomes super difficult to leave unless that offer is really too good to refuse, or they are presenting you with a massive project that ensures that you become possibly a superstar, or it all depends. But for every player, the situation is different. Other decide, oh, I need to leave, need to boost my career by joining in Real Madrid. Some other players are like Berardi, and they prefer to stay.
Well, we wish him all the best. On the last episode, Ahmed pleaded for Messi for Arsenal. He told us that the window has not opened. They are taking their time. We are in July. This is the 10th of July, and they've signed Norgard. They've confirmed Subimendi. Noni Madueke is on the way. But the most important signing, Victor Gyökeres, we are now hearing that that deal might not happen. Yinka, can you shed more light on that?
Well, I'm not a transfer market expert, to be very honest, so I'm unable to really share a lot of like. But going by the reports that we've seen, it looks like there might be in the deal, mostly due to Sporting's stubbornness. Sporting has made it clear that they prefer a certain amount to be paid upfront. Arsenal, I expect them to be more desperate than they are, but it looks like they are also forming principle and saying we are not going to make you know this payment. So it's now going to be a matter of how desperate Arsenal are. Personally, I've always said that Arsenal is the best fit for Osimhen. That Osimhen deal is still there for the taking. If Arsenal would just take whatever wool they have on their eyes out of their eyes and then look the other way. All this Sheshko, Gyökeres might help them, but I think that Osimhen is a guaranteed bomber for that squad. And this is a situation where you know what of the player is, you know how much he's asking for. It's not like there's any
Gyökeres.
dribbling around, that sorry?
Very
I
straightforward
said
deal.
unlike Gyökeres situation.
Exactly. It's not like there's any dribbling that you need to dribble around. The details of deal, at least majority of the details are quite public. So all you need to do is present the offer. In fact, after tonight, you might even present a low offer. If you present it in a way that is properly structured, you might get away with it. So if you're offering them, say, 60, 65, and you're telling them that we're going to give you 55 upfront, 10 in bonuses, the Laurentiis might actually bite. So why don't they even look at that side? The guy is just 26, for crying out loud. He can still give you 4 good years, at least.
Yeah, Ahmed, are we still buying time for Arsenal, or should we still keep our fingers
Definitely,
crossed?
like I said, that they want to do something on that front. And immediately after our show, we began to sort their request for Gyökeres. So definitely, they are also aware they need to get a striker. They are working towards that. So let's keep our
Are they
fingers crossed.
aware?
That if they are not aware, they wouldn't be going in for Gyökeres. Let's see how
Ahmed is
that
our
ends.
new
They are aware,
Arsenal
but they went for
correspondent.
Drake first. But they are aware.
But at 50
Okay.
million, oh, they agreed though. No
Deals
worry.
are simpler than each other.
We are we are observing. We are observing. Still speaking about Arsenal, they released Thomas Partey some weeks back. Since then, they've announced the signing of Norgard, a 31 years. 31-year-old defensive midfielder from Brentford. But then speaking about Thomas Partey, since being released by Arsenal, he has been charged with 5 counts of rape, if I'm correct, and 1 count of sexual assault. Now, this is allegedly. There are conspiracy theories flying around stating that probably he had been under the protection of the club for a while, and this is just coming out because he is now a free agent. Yinka, do you really think that is possible?
Well, it's hard to say, but based on what we've read in the news, an Athletic the Athletic reported last week, or was it a few days ago, that Arsenal had to bail him out a few times during the season. All of these things we never heard about it until now. So if he's been arrested a number of times and Arsenal had to bail him out, then it means that the situation was, quite serious, very serious. For Arsenal to have released him, everyone knows on this show that I've always maintained that I consider him Arsenal's best midfielder. I know they have Declan Rice and the other guy, but I consider Thomas Partey their best midfielder. For them to have released him, then replaced him with another 31-year-old, shows that it was not a question of his age. It was not like they were trying to reduce the age for whoever was playing that role. They basically replaced him with another the same age. So I think it may have had something to do with the fact that I had issues with the law. And from a moral point of view, there's not much that Arsenal could have done if you really think about it, because at that point it would still have been accusations. If they had charged him formally with a crime and Arsenal have still covered it up, then you could say that, okay, Arsenal really messed up. But as long as it's still an accusation and you're still investigating, then it's neither here or there. Especially when you consider the fact that the last 2 times, if I'm not mistaken, that this has happened, and I'm talking about Mendy, and that's what's his name now? Mendy, the Man City player, and
Roland
there was
Mendes.
another player. The last 2 times that this accusations of this nature have come up, the players have been found not guilty eventually. And the clubs that have gone ahead to punish the player, freeze them out of the squad, the players have basically lost their career over something that was basically false. So it would have been normal for us now tread on the path of caution and say, okay, let's allow this accusation, let them charge him formally first, and then we can decide. So it's possible that Arsenal had gotten, intel that they will be charging this guy, and with his contract already expired, it was only, right for them to cut ties with him and allow him go his way so that he can face his charges without any problem. That absolves Arsenal of any major blame.
Ahmed, what does this what next for the player? I mean Thomas Partey now.
Honestly, the first thing that has to be on his mind right now is how to clear his name of all these allegations, because football is a profession where you can't afford to have your mind in numerous places. You have to always be focused to give your best. Now that he's facing this much allegations, first on the list is how to clear his name. So I believe everything is going in that direction, because we've seen little links as to where else he would sign. Considering his quality, without the allegations, I believe a number of things will be swimming all around him right now. But now we've not seen such interest in him. So everything should go in the direction of him and his name. So I believe that's first and foremost right now.
Well, we hope him the best. We observe from distance and we monitor the proceedings as it goes. We are back to the Club World Cup now, and PSG routed Real Madrid.
Welcome to
I
the club.
don't. I don't know if the sight of Mbappe was an extra motivation for the PSG team, but they hounded Madrid like animals. The way they beat Madrid. Alonso had to admit that he started with
And
the
wrong formation.
wrong formation. Alonso was busy explaining himself. What about this dominating performance by PSG?
I mean, it's easy. They are the best team in the world at the moment. Even if they end up losing to Chelsea, I still consider them the best team in the world at the moment. And if you are unfortunate enough to face them, they will embarrass you. They've got a combination of technique. They've got midfielders that are so comfortable on the ball, footballers that are quite comfortable on the ball as well. They've got speed. Speed. I mean, right back, right
They are
wing,
so
left back.
industrial. As much as they are
Speed.
technical, they
And they
are
are also very good in 1v1
hardworking.
situations.
Oh my God.
Very hardworking as well. So it's a team that I do not want to compare them to that Pep side of 2008, because when you met that Pep side of 2008, 2009 till 2011, it was almost like you were going into the game a goal down before even playing them. That was how difficult it was to play that Pep team.
It is
But
not even
this
comparable because
team,
that team had the Messi factor. This time around, it is just a
exactly,
very compact, no Messiah anywhere. There is
Dembele
compact
factor.
team. This
nah.
team, it's almost like they know that they will beat you, because Luis Enrique has drilled them so hard. They understand the system so well. When Akimi makes those runs, they know who needs to move in. They know who needs to move out. It's just beautiful to watch. And I think that
Courtois, Courtois
sorry.
conceded 4 goals. Still had a rating of 6.6. Courtois made some Courtois made some unbelievable saves in that match, and that match could have easily ended 6 or 7 goals.
I think that they slowed down in the second half. I was in the group. I think they slowed down in the second half.
Respect,
As early as the third minute,
respect
he has
PSG.
made two significant saves. As early as the third minute.
Third
He
minute
was resting players for Chelsea now.
on Sunday we would see against Chelsea, and before the show, I've been a lot of Chelsea fans now. They are our guys. We love them. We like them. We appreciate them, even how lousy they are. And I'm seeing a lot of combinations, comparisons with the PSG team. So I said, okay, on the show today, we'll do a PSG and Chelsea combined 11. Before I ask you guys to talk, in my own PSG and Chelsea combined 11, the 11 players play for PSG. That is my own, sha.
You can hardly change anything in that 11.
I don't see where any Chelsea player fits in my combined 11. I don't see where.
You can
But
hardly
then
change that 11.
I would let you guys
Is
do
there a
your
need to go
combined
there?
11.
Okay, maybe you
Take
do to
it from
Ika,
there.
because as for me, I don't change it. I can make it that 11.
Inka
Honestly
is
speaking,
thinking.
about it, I do not see it. I mean, this is not to say that Chelsea have also picked up quite well over the few months. It looks like they understand Maresca's system, way more than they did as the time that he joined them initially. But the fact still remains that Chelsea has not really had top opposition in this tournament so far. So it's hard to really grade
They were on the
them.
end of the draw.
Exactly. So it's hard to really grade them. And this is not to mean that they're their side. But if you're doing a combination, a comparison rather, of both X size 11s, I do not see any Chelsea player getting into that PSG team. Yeah, it just
Honestly,
I know
and it's not
Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo do have a slight chance, just a slight chance. But on the balance of play, understanding, there's no they beat Ruiz, Neves, and Vitinha
Yeah.
in that PSG midfield. It doesn't work for me. And in attack, even Joao Pedro, that is even giving them a bit of in the last two games now. Um, Chelsea's attack was a bit toothless before Joao Pedro. So I just let's just forget about it. It's a waste of time.
finally, guys. Dembele Ballon d'Or confirmed.
I thought you were not going to talk about it. I wanted to remind you. I was even saying I would remind you. I thought you were not going to
PSG,
talk about it.
PSG
I mean,
are
How will I forget?
on course
How
to
will I
break
forget my guys
record.
Ballon d'Or? What do you
They're
mean?
about to win 7 in a calendar year, the first of its kind. So
oh,
that's
there's only one person that I think might give Dembele a run for his money. I think it will be Vitinha. Just
Yes,
because
there
if
is an
they end up
agenda.
winning the Club
There
World
is a
Cup,
Vitinha
then it
agenda
means he would
already.
have won maybe it's 5 trophies as well this season. If he goes on to win the European Super Cup and French Super Cup, that would be 7 trophies in 1 year. I don't think anyone has done it in history. So 7 or 8,
Because
because
of
he has
the
won the Nations Cup as well, and he won 4 trophies in
Nations League.
France
Nations
already.
League.
So that would make it 8 trophies. Nations League rather.
in a
So
calendar year.
Vitinha, because of that, one could make that argument for Vitinha, but just based on individual performance alone, Dembele has been devastating, man.
One thing is certain, it has
Yeah,
to
Devastating.
be a PSG player.
because of the Rodri
Yes,
win last year, there has been a Vitinha agenda going on, and it's gaining
exactly.
momentum.
Not
Also,
out of
Modric
place. It
won
is not
it
out
how
of
many
place.
years ago?
It's not out of place. It's not out
Definitely.
of place.
Oh,
But I believe Dembele will take the day. He's French,
Dembele also has better
and
PR, sha. So
it's going to be Dembele at the end of it all. Uh it's been wonderful having you guys. We've discussed a lot of transfers. Ahmed's team are busy begging Club Brugge for Adon Jashari. We hope Milan
I
will
don't know
get
what's
that
going
deal.
on with that deal.
Everybody is trying to be the bigger
Actually,
person.
I actually think
I mean, they were in
Club
Milan
Brugge.
today. Why
I
have they
actually
not
think,
been to Casa Milan to speak to Milan? They were in
so.
Milan today now.
I think
Yeah, the Club Brugge.
Club are not being professional with the whole thing because there was reportedly a final offer from Milan, and they've
They were
been
in Milan
waiting.
today.
Yes, they
Yes,
came
now they
to
were at Inter
Inter.
headquarters today to
They came to
discuss
Inter to discuss
Stankovic.
Stankovic, only to give a
So
Hey,
press
personally,
briefing.
I was thinking that they wanted to replace Jashari with Stankovic. Once they are guaranteed that they can get that replacement, then maybe they would answer Milan. But with the way the guy was responding to the journalists outside Inter headquarters today, I'm not even so certain again.
Much more
well, if we don't
professional.
get Jashari, I hope we get Granit Xhaka. Till we see you guys again, is episode. Please engage our social media platforms. Go on all our platforms. Give us your feedback. We appreciate your comment. We appreciate your feedback. Your feedbacks make us a better, allows us to give you better content. And to my panelists, I say thank you for being on the show today. It's good having you and discussing the Osimhen saga.
A
I hope
pleasure.
before the next episode, Osimhen will have a club.
Amen.
And
Oh, amen.
Hopefully,
and if he does not get a club,
so I can
he's
justify
guaranteed.
all up.
Thank you.
All right, man. Bye bye.